feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride no.
This is like so ridiculous. But let me pull this up. Bro, it's like, I can't like honestly cover these joints without just telling y'all like, bro, this shit is lies. And it's not even like, I'm just, because I read these things. So like, I know some people felt like this Druski thing. Some people said, oh, it was a parody page. I tweeted the Druski thing. Bro, no, it's not, bro. It's filed in federal court. Bro, I scoured the federal court documents and I found it's amended complaint. Bro, the same bad actors we keep seeing. And that's the thing. All this believe women fuckery, bro. My nigga, bro. The same bad actors is literally popping up elsewhere. Bro, the same lawyer who filed the shit against Druski, her last client dropped her and called her a clout chaser. Like, this, like, nobody cares, though. Everybody now is like, yo, did Druski do that? Bro, come on, bro. Like, this is some really lame shit. And the crazy thing is, I understand a lot of people now in the industry. It's always very alarming when you hear what you think famous people are doing. So you're like, you're intrigued. But bro, haven't we seen, like, there's so many accusations. Nobody's going to the cops. Nobody's getting arrested. Bro, and we're seeing the same lawyers. And we're seeing the same type of, like, bullshit story, like, you know, in its rubric. Oh, they did this and they did this and they did this. Like, and people aren't smart enough to be like, yo, y'all niggas are lying. You niggas are lying. I'm sorry to say, like, y'all are lying. So, look at this. And yes, it is filed in federal court. Check this out. It's filed in federal court. It was filed on the 7th. It's an amended complaint. What you won't realize is the person in question is Ariel Mitchell, Esquire. Bro, I'm not here to disrespect her or, like, say nothing against her, but she filed a few other lawsuits. She was just representing a nigga who claimed he was at the grand jury for Diddy. Diddy's lawyer sued that nigga for like $100 million and this woman. And she comes back with another client. And this client, by the way, she been representing her. Well, I don't know if she been representing, but this lawsuit been filed already. It's this chick named Ashley Parham. Bro, like, again, Chad. Bro, listen, I'm not here trying to act like everybody's innocent or whatever, bro. But, bro, y'all ain't tired, bro. Like, y'all ain't tired of seeing the same bullshit. Like at this point, they're, like, literally spitting it in the air, and it's falling on your face, and you're like, is that rain? Like, they think you that fucking stupid. My nigga, just look at the people who they're suing. It's cool. Like, we get it. Diddy's locked up. So if niggas said Diddy stuck a pencil up, well, we don't know. But, bro, they're naming everybody in the book. Bro, look at this fucking lawsuit, my nigga. Look at this lawsuit. They're suing Diddy, Christina Coram, Shane Pierce, I don't know who that is, Ruben Valdez, I don't know who that is, Joan Pellet, I don't know who that is, Odell Beckham Jr., bro, Druski, bro. Bro, they sued Jack Wright. And she's the one claiming that she's outing all the niggas who are pedophiles. Like, bruv. Yo, Chad, come on, bro. Bro, Helena Harris Scott, Matias Gonzalez, Brandon Cunningham, Janice Combs. That's like Diddy's moms. Big homie CC? Like, come the fuck on. Yo, Chad, bro. We really gonna let this shit keep going on, bro? We really just gonna keep letting all type of crazy, like, bro, like, they just fabricate shit, bro. Come on, dog. My nigga, come on, bro. I get it. Yo, I see some people in my chat right now saying, nah, bro, Odell Beckham Jr. guilty. Bro, that nigga might be zesty, but is he That's what we trying to talk about. We not talking about if niggas gay, closeted, go. But we talking about you think Odell Beckham Jr. and his zesty looking self, no disrespect to Odell, I ain't trying to say, but this is what niggas saying about you. They say you look a little zesty or you move zesty sometimes. You think he's taking pussy? You think he's taking dick by force, bro? Like, not because a nigga zesty mean that he's a... That's my only problem with, like, the internet now. If y'all are in question about a man's sexuality, y'all just jump to the next conclusion. He like kids. Bro, these are, like, very serious accusations. Y'all don't get what I'm saying? Anyway, bro, I'm going to just, like, let me just read some of this fuckery that you could really just know how bullshit this is, bro. Look at the pictures they using, bro. Diddy, Christina Corum. This is somebody at a Kimpton hotel. Who the fuck? They got a nigga that's chilling with Ronald McDonald's. What the fuck? They got a Getty image of Druski. Odell, they use Shorty's mugshot. Yo, chat, this not crazy to y'all, bro? It shows them two together right here. Let me get to the interesting part. Shit that I think y'all care about. Look at this shit, chat. All right. It's a factual allegation. This is where we need to start. So the chick, and by the way, before I even get to that, you know this chick. Matter of fact, let me just point out the ridiculousness first. Plaintiff met defendant Shane in February 2018 after an altercation with another man in the bar. Defendant Shane came to the plaintiff's rescue. While outside the bar with her and friends and other patrons, Shane FaceTimed Diddy and was showing people defendant Diddy in the video on his phone, attempting to impress people with his famous friend. Defendant Shane showed the plaintiff Diddy. All right, I don't care about that, man. Hold on. What? Which plaintiff ignored, stating she was not impressed knowing that Diddy, because she think Diddy had something to do with the death of Tupac. Visibly in the FaceTime was Diddy and some of his children, including Christian and Quincy. It appeared from the plaintiff's perspective, Diddy was having a get-together at his home. Defendant Diddy heard plaintiff's statement and made a remark that plaintiff would pay for her statement regarding Tupac and overall dismissal of Diddy. On March 23rd, defendant invited plaintiff over to his home to assist. Upon arrival, defendant Shane informed plaintiff he wanted to give her a ride in his new car. They left his residence for a brief time, then returned. Once they returned, Shane, the defendant, left the door open, partially open, and stated that the door was ajar because there was an issue with the door, couldn't close completely. Defendant Shane was renting an apartment on the lower floor of a home in California. Defendant Shane had a separate entrance into the residence that led to the backyard. They rented the home from a woman. Okay. Let me just go down a little bit more into details. Okay. Along with defendant Diddy were his bodyguards, defendant BighomieCC, defendant KK, defendant Brandy, defendant Doe 2. This is bullshit, bro. Plaintiff believed defendant Shane invited her to set her up to be assaulted by Diddy because of the statement she made about Tupac. Upon Diddy's arrival, they immediately began to antagonize the plaintiff, stated that she thought she would never see him in person to pay for her statements about Pac. Plaintiff was in shock. She thought she never believed that she would meet Diddy. Diddy started advancing to her. She was sitting down on the bed with a knife and held it to the right side of the... What? Where the plaintiff was sitting with a knife and held it to the right side of the plaintiff's face and threatened to give her a Glasgow smile in retaliation for... So basically, Diddy said he was going to give her $150. Defendant KK told defendant Diddy that she did not think giving the plaintiff a Glasgow smile would be advantageous to their potential clients who they could be selling plaintiff to sex for or for sex too. They made a threat to the plaintiff that they could ship her anywhere in the world and she would never see her family again. They partially undressed the plaintiff. Then Diddy removed the remainder of the plaintiff's clothing, removing a knife from her face, then retrieved a bottle of liquid from a large fanny pack. Diddy squirted the bottle on the plaintiff, which placed her in fear that she was being squirted with chemical substance like acid. Plaintiff soon realized the substance was oil and lubricant. Plaintiff was squirted with this liquid substance over the entirety of her naked body. Defendant KK was then told by Diddy to insert what looked like a syringe from a sterile packaging into the vagina. She did what she was told while assisted by Brandy, and then was told Diddy that they were unable to use the IUD because it had prematurely been released from his packaging. Huh? Diddy, upset by this, took the syringe and tried to insert it in the plaintiff's vagina instead. KK and Diddy began to argue as defendant KK continued to advise Diddy that the IUD had been prematurely released from the packaging, no way it could be inserted into the vagina effectively. After sometimes Diddy heeded advice of the defendant KK and removed the syringe from the vagina and handed it to KK. Defendant KK and Brandy then exited the residence, leaving plaintiff alone with Diddy, Shane, and John Doe's, who have been named herein. Defendant Diddy then picked up a television remote that was near the plaintiff and violently what? He put a remote into her vagina? Okay. Defendant Diddy, while violently raping the plaintiff with a television remote, told the plaintiff that her life was in his hands and that he could take her and she would never be seen again. She began crying hysterically from threats from defendant Diddy, along with the pain of being violently vaginally raped by Diddy with the television remote, as well as the lingering pain from the ordeal with the IUD syringe insertion. Defendant Diddy then instructed defendant Shane to turn the plaintiff on her stomach, seemingly tired of hearing the plaintiff's blood-curdling cries. Defendant Shane grabbed the plaintiff by her abdomen and hips, turned her on her stomach. Defendant Diddy then instructed Shane to put a pillow over her head because he didn't want to see her face or hear her cries, and instructed defendant Shane to anally. Defendant Shane did as he was told by Diddy. Defendant Doe 2 then joined defendant Diddy and Shane. Immediately after defendant Doe 2, he exited the defendant's residence. Defendant Diddy then instructed another defendant Doe. Defendant Doe has been determined to be defendant Druski. Instead of immediate, Druski doused the plaintiff with more oil and lubricant, then jumped on top of the plaintiff's naked and oil body and treating it like a slip and slide and knocking the wind out of the plaintiff due to his enormous size. Come on, bro. Nigga, you already know this is cap. Nigga, if Druski jumped on this fucking, woman, she would have died. It's like Rikishi, nigga. Like, nigga. Come on, bro. She would have died of suffocation. So they're really just clowning Druski out here. They're saying that Druski jumped on them and treated it like a slip and slide? Huh? Defendant Druski then caught himself from sliding over the plaintiff's oil body and off the bed. He then began vaginally, while defendant Druski Diddy sat in a chair near the bed and began masturbating while recording the plaintiff by defendant Druski. What? Another party phone fell at the bed near the plaintiff. Plaintiff attempted to grab the phone, but it slipped out of her hands and onto the floor due to the oil and lubricant that's been doused all over her by Diddy and Druski. Diddy began laughing at the plaintiff's attempt to grab the phone. Throughout, Diddy constantly belittling remarks to the plaintiff, including that he owned her now. At some point during the ordeal, plaintiffs remember that defendants referred to another defendant Doe as Cornelius, and remember the name because it was so odd and unique. Plaintiff has come to discover the defendant Doe, Cornelius, who raped, was defendant Odell Beckham Jr. Plaintiff's body was becoming more and more limp until she eventually had no control of her body, nor could she move her body. When Druski finished, KK entered the room to examine the condition of the plaintiff, who was barely able to move or control her bodily function. They examined the plaintiff to see if she needed assistance and was about to give her an IV fluid. Plaintiff cannot be certain if she did or did not receive the IV fluid. And they opened a different bag, different than the one Diddy had removed the oil from, where the plaintiff observed several medicine bottles, IV fluid bags, and other unidentified powder-like drugs. They removed a pill from one of the medicine bottles and gave it to Diddy. Diddy then inserted the pill in the plaintiff's mouth, down her throat, where the plaintiff had no choice but to ingest the unknown pill. Diddy, Shane, KK, Odell, and Druski exited the residence to the backyard where they smoked marijuana and cigarettes. By the way, we read this before. They didn't have this many names, which you know what that means, right? They try to shake down these guys and they didn't pay, so they're ousting them, right? Plaintiff remained in an almost lifeless state in Shane's bedroom until she finally regained her bodily functions. She began looking for her clothes that contained her car, keys, and cell phone, but could not discover them in the room or anywhere in the apartment. Plaintiff was only able to find a T-shirt on the floor, which she put to cover her naked body. They also observed a black condom wrapper on the floor, which she assumed was used by one of the defendants, most likely Diddy, during the rape. Plaintiff found a knife with the assistance of dope plaintiffs and headed to the backyard where defendants were smoking, as that was the only way to exit the premises onto the street. Plaintiff concealed a knife on her left side as she exited the apartment in the backyard area. Upon coming to the exit, plaintiff was met by defendant BighomieCC, who was standing in the door between the residence and blah, blah. Okay. I'm going to stop here because what's very important is that, so this woman who's suing, Ashley Parham, she did a News Nation interview. So she did this a month ago. Let's play it. So this is the same woman. So this is the same woman.
Turned out he was just...
So this is the same woman who's saying that, what do you call it again? Diddy, Druski, and Odell raped her. So let's listen to her story before they amended the complaint. So she did this interview before they amended the complaint. Let's see if we can match it with the new complaint. Because in some of this shit, she's supposed to be talking about Druski and Odell. Here we go.
Had Sean Combs on a FaceTime phone call, and he overheard me saying I wasn't impressed by him and wasn't a fan, and that I thought he killed Tupac. And
do you believe that that's what started all of this, that perhaps Sean Combs had a grudge, just hearing that you believed he was Tupac's killer?
Yeah, I think that's what started it, because that's when he threatened me, that he was going to come after me. And he threatened he was going to eat my face, so I didn't take him seriously. I just thought he was a bizarre human being.
At what point did you come into actual physical contact? Did you see him face to face for the first time? What were the circumstances?
It was when Shane Pierce had called me, and he claimed he wasn't feeling well from his cancer treatment and he needed help opening his medication. So I went over there to help him out, and it turned out he was just fine and he didn't need my help. It was weird. He wanted to show me his new car, and
So it's kind of matching up.
he
so
took
far.
me on a short drive around the Renda Hills, and then we got back to his little bachelor pad in the house, and he offered me a glass of water, and I drank it, and I started to feel a little bit off. And then I heard
This is the lawyer, Ariel Mitchell.
a bunch of people coming down the stairs, and it was Sean Combs and a whole bunch of people who just busted in the door, and in just a boisterous manner, and
It's important to watch a lawyer's face too.
he said something like, "Bet you didn't think you were ever going to see me," and I was just in complete shock and frozen.
And what happened next?
He basically started threatening me with human trafficking, and that they could take me anywhere and sell me. He had Christina Coram. He ordered her to insert a copper IUD into my vagina, but luckily it deployed before she could actually get it inside me, like inside the cervix. And that's when Sean Combs got extremely angry, and he grabbed the TV remote and sexually assaulted me vaginally with the remote extremely violently.
Where in the apartment did this happen?
And it was in the house. It has a little studio apartment underneath the house, and it was on the bed because it was a really tiny apartment.
And was everyone in that party present? The people who had all descended down those stairs into that studio apartment, were they all present witnessing what was happening to you?
I heard more people upstairs that I didn't see, so I'm not incredibly sure how many people were there. In the room with me, it was Sean Combs, Shane Pierce, Shane's friend, who I don't know his name yet, what he called was a bodyguard, who later claimed he was a correctional officer or undercover officer, but he wasn't. And then Christina Coram and another white woman who I don't know her name.
Did you know who these people were, or have you come to learn who they are because of the alleged assault that happened?
I learned who they were afterwards, other than Sean Combs.
And so now, if you can, and I'm sorry these questions are so difficult. I'm following along with the affidavit for the most part. Can you tell me what happened after you say Sean Combs allegedly raped you with the TV remote? What happened after that in that bedroom with all of those people present?
They took turns raping me, and Sean Combs raped me anally. Shane Pierce also raped me, but vaginally. And the bodyguard guy, he raped me as well while Sean Combs was sitting in a chair naked, filming it and jerking off to watching me being raped.
Sean Combs was masturbating while you say the other members of his party were taking turns with you?
Yeah.
And what happened next?
And I looked for my stuff, my shoes, my clothes, my purse, my keys, and my phone.
She doesn't allude to Druski here. So remember, she mentions the bodyguard, which we now know is what she's trying to say is BighomieCC. But she doesn't mention the Druski fella or the person who matched Druski in the story, nor does she mention Odell.
None of it was there. And I found a random large black t-shirt. So I put that on, and the knife that Sean Combs had put against my face earlier, where he wanted to cut my face, and Christina Coram told him that it wouldn't be good for human trafficking me, that clients wouldn't like it. I found that knife because they had left it in there. So I tried to hide it on my left side underneath partially of the t-shirt. And I stepped outside, and that's right where the bodyguard with a gun was, and they told me to sit down. So I sat down on this makeshift bench out of buckets and a plywood, and I just had to sit there and just kind of listen to Sean Combs brag about what he did to me and that he's gotten away with more serious crimes and no one would believe me. And he mentioned Tupac and...
To be clear, this is outside now. This is in the backyard. You have now moved out towards the backyard where they are all sitting outside?
Yeah, they were all in the backyard, sitting outside, just having fun with each other, like, and they were smoking and drinking, like it was just a normal day for them.
So what happened after that?
I was sitting there on the bench and I wasn't allowed to leave. At one point, Sean Combs threw a fanny pack at me that was full of drugs, and I got angry and I threw the fanny pack into the bush, and that's when the bodyguard told me that I had messed up and to go get it. And Sean quickly said, no, she needs to stay there. Someone else go get it. So I couldn't get up from the seat. He was just trying to brag about all his celebrity friends. And I just didn't want to listen to him. I just was sitting there.
Now,
and Fox 4.
Ooh, we ain't get there yet. So, by the way, just to be clear, Druski did respond. Obviously, that interview we were playing from this woman, this was before the amended complaint where she now names a few people, BighomieCC. She names Odell Beckham Jr., and now she also names Druski as some of the people who assisted or participated in her rape. Now, Druski did speak, and he spoke via a statement on his Instagram. He said, the allegation is a fabricated lie. I wasn't a public figure in 2018. I was broke living with my mom without any connections to the entertainment industry at that time of this allegation. So the inclusion of my name is truly outlandish. Okay, my heart breaks for actual victims of abuse, but I'm fully confident that the evidence will expose this falsehood and the individuals who are maliciously trying to game the system to peddle false narratives. Odell also kind of piggybacked off of that, and he responded as well. Let me see what he said. Where is it? He says, boy, I'll tell you what, this world makes absolutely no sense. I'm covered by God. He will prevail. He know who I am. I know who you are. Keep your head. He's talking to Druski now. That name will be cleared. Shit's stupid. Okay? Back to you.
Until I could try to run. But there were so many people, like, around the house and up above near the actual house's backyard where there's a patio where Christina Coram and a bunch of people were just hanging out and smoking and chatting and having fun. Sean Combs turns to me and he says, why haven't we ever partied like this before? And that's when I got enraged and I said, this is not a party. You raped me. And he attempted to bribe me with some amount of money, and I said, no, you raped me. I'm not going to stay silent on this. And then he ended up calling his mother. Janice Combs. And she got on the phone, a FaceTime video, and she yelled at me not to hurt her son. And I yelled back, he raped me. And she told me to take the money and shut up.
At some point, someone in the backyard brought out a weapon and fired it. What were the circumstances surrounding that?
That's when Sean Combs had...
All right, man. I think you guys get the drift. So basically, she kind of left out the part where she specifically mentioned Odell and like Druski, and this is an interview from a month ago. But now in newly filed documents, she's naming them. It feels like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if the lawyer has beef with these people or the lawyer has some bad run-in, but it feels like the lawyer is trying to, if you ask me, taking out some personal vendetta on these guys by putting them in a lawsuit. Don't know why, but I think if I was going to start doing some digging to figure out why the hell would you sue Big Homie CC? I would imagine he don't got much money anyway, so why would you sue him unless you think he has information on other people or, maybe it's a method to try to intimidate him to get him to stop speaking about maybe you. I don't know. Anyway, all good.